Hi friends, my name is Host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People and a typologist who talks a lot about MBTI stuff, other psychology things. But of course, as somebody who's interested in that field, I tend to get suggested a lot of psychology style videos, including videos by this guy who I've watched a couple of his videos before. His channel is called Surviving Narcissism. And by and large, his message is not wrong exactly. He talks to people about how important it is that they basically defend their own boundaries. But I cannot stand this guy. I strongly, strongly, strongly dislike him. And the reason is because it's incredibly clear watching him that he is angrily antithetical towards logic and thinking, argumentation, being correct and being incorrect. He dismisses the idea of there being correct and incorrect. And what he says, what he thinks of as being responsibility or accountability avoidant is not that. In other words, the strategies that smart people use to hold each other accountable and be fair and decent include many of the things that he labels as narcissistic. In other words, a healthy relationship is not constantly arguing back and forth between people. Rachel and I almost never have any conflict. But if one of us fucks up in some way, then it's absolutely critical that we not make the mistake of thinking that it's just differences between us. He uses the word accountability, but he rejects every possible strategy of actually attaining accountability. Look at that shit. Alright, so look at this shit.
In healthy relationships, we don't overuse that term you, and we don't try to back people into corners. In healthy relations here on Team Healthy with our channel here, we like to emphasize things like showing understanding or learning about one another or having a sense of coordination with each other. There are times when you do need to preserve yourself, but self-preservation is not the same as entitlement.
Let me make absolutely clear to this guy in the world. We are all of us, every single one of us, entitled to correctly articulate who's at fault for something. It is not the case that when two people disagree, they need to better understand each other. Usually. It's almost always the case that when two people disagree, one of them is right and the other one needs to accept that reality and change their position. You know, it's like, I get that there's a lot of differences between people in the world. But the fact is, you can't be TI polar and talk to the world about how it should think or feel or know things. Because you're just incapable of being right. This guy makes me so angry.
And going into some sort of a selfish kind of mode. Narcissists, when disagreements come along, cannot do that. It's so important for you to recognize that they operate with a very fragile ego. And because of the fragile ego, they're not able to be objective. That's a gross understatement.
The thing is here, on some level, you might say, why are you holding this guy accountable for anything here, Eric? Because he's doing it consistently in the right direction. In other words, he's saying, if you're dealing with a narcissist, then this behavior is bad. Well, sure. If you hand a banana to a narcissist, he's going to find something bad to do with it, right? The problem is, you keep focusing on behaviors that are bad when a narcissist does it, but fail to distinguish between healthy expressions of similar behaviors. Therefore, giving the impression that people like me, who are argumentational and correct idiots like you, are narcissists. I mean, the thing is, I am eager to be corrected as well. But in this guy's worldview with his TI polar, he doesn't understand that, we can't always cut babies in half. sometimes that kills babies.
Think that way? Or you might think to yourself, we can't even get down to the basic of saying, well, why don't we just agree to disagree? That person just simply can't go into that space with me. Or
have you ever considered that the reason the individual doesn't want to agree to disagree is because it's fundamentally dishonest? If you're wrong and I'm right, then I can agree that you're wrong. We can agree that we're not in agreement yet, and that therefore we need to continue arguing. Or you can convince me that I'm wrong. But agreeing to disagree is just saying, let's sweep your wrongness under the rug and pretend it doesn't exist. That we're equally okay in our positions, despite the fact that you're totally wrong and I'm not. This is fundamentally how this motherfucker gaslights the world into thinking people like me are narcissists. He's had some bad experience with TI, right? Somebody's imposed too much black and white thinking on him. It may very much be possible that this guy has a history with a narcissist who was a TI tool user or something. And that's why he's so just aggressively antithetical towards it. But don't be fooled for a second. This is not wisdom. This folksy, down home, Dr. Phil, nice accent. You know, the presentation makes it sound so common sense and straightforward. Now, a narcissist has a very fragile ego. And as a consequence, when you disagree with them, they can't handle that. They freak out and explode. It's called narcissistic rage. Maybe this individual who is getting upset at you is upset because you refuse to engage the words with what they mean and insist on making all expressions of humanity equally valuable. But they aren't. Like, your videos are stupid and fucked up. My videos are fantastic. The good ones, anyway. This video is absolutely fantastic. Your video is incredibly shitty and misleading. Now, am I a narcissist? Is this my fragile ego talking? First of all, I've been planning to make a video trashing you for years and just haven't gotten around to it. But second of all, and more importantly, no. This is my legitimate objection to you conflating legitimate behaviors with illegitimate ones. In other words, because I'm shitting on your face right now, doesn't mean I'm gaslighting you. It doesn't mean I'm engaged in narcissistic rage. It doesn't mean I can't respect your decency and humanity. No, it means you're fucking stupid and making dumb statements that make me pissed off. It is always bad to agree to disagree. What that means is I refuse to resolve a point in conflict. So, like this video here, I'm making very clear, you're wrong. The only acceptable moral response from you is to watch this video and concede that I'm right. Or convince me I'm wrong. It's not for us to just be okay with our different respective positions coexisting in conflict with one another and think that that's how it should be. That's how it should be in stupid world. The end. Thanks for watching. If you want to really survive a narcissist, ask Eric how to survive a narcissist. You forcibly shove your boot forwardly up their ass. That's how you do it. Anybody who tries to be narcissistic with you, you destroy them with your righteous and vigorous fury. After all, they can't withstand any scrutiny, right? Like, this guy will never have a conversation with me where he actually addresses what I'm saying. He sees me as my being annoyed by this shit as the problem. What is wrong with this guy? He gets so angry. Look at this anger from this guy. This is classic narcissistic rage. This is non-narcissistic rage, motherfucker. You know, it's like, stop. Just stop. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're confusing people and making them feel better or feel like this weird kind of like, yeah, I hate those narcissists, about somebody who's probably not even a narcissist in their own life, but just somebody that they don't agree with. Because how much of your attention is spent actually helping people distinguish between narcissistic behavior and not narcissistic behavior, versus how much of your attention is directed towards describing behavior as narcissistic. It's almost all the latter, almost none the former, and that's why a person like you will convince lots of people that a good, healthy, successfully thoughtful person like me has something wrong with them. So, survive that, motherfucker.